The hazards and risks associated with handheld abrasive wheel tools. Course aim is to identify common hazards and control measures associated with the use and selection of handheld abrasive wheel tools, such as those used in the construction industry in order to help prevent accidents. An introduction to our course. The portable grinder is used in the workplace to grind excess metal from welds, remove rust, for special finishing operations, tracking, cutting steel, concrete, brick, block or pipes. Since this tool is hand operated, quality of the work depends upon the ability and experience of the operator, as does getting the job done safely. Here we have two abrasive wheel machines commonly used in construction. One we have the angle grinder, and two we have the petrol saw. Accident strategy. Accidents in the workplace can have a huge effect on the business and the individuals. Working days lost in the UK as a consequence of accidents at work in 2018-19, 28.2 million days, £5.2 billion annual costs of workplace injury, cost to the individual 147 deaths, 0.6 million workers sustained a non-fatal injury. Main causes of grinder accidents: number 1, kickbacks; number 2, flying sparks; number 3, disc shattering; number 4, incorrect fitting of discs; number 5, poor housekeeping; number 6, operator error. Employers should carry out risk assessments on all individual abrasive processes to determine the appropriate protective measures necessary. They should ensure that their employees are suitably trained to carry out their duties. Records show that most accidents involving abrasive wheels are caused by operator error in handling, storing, mounting, or use of the wheel or disc. Legislation. The Health and Safety at Work Order, NI 1978, employer duties: to maintain a safe workplace, to maintain plant and equipment, which is an absolute duty, safe use of articles and substances, safe systems of work, otherwise known as method statements, provide safe access and egress from the workplace, safety information, instruction, training and supervision, and Regulation 33 states guards and protection devices to provide guarding so far as practicable, not so far as reasonably practicable. Other relevant legislation in conjunction with abrasive wheels: the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations, NI 1999, the Provision and Use of Work Equipment Regulations, NI 1999, Control of Substances Hazardous to Health Regulations, NI 2003, PPE at Work Regulations, NI 1993, Working at Height Regulations, NI 2005, Lifting Operations and Lifting Equipment Regulations, NI 1999, Control of Noise at Work Regulations, NI 2006, and Control of Vibration at Work Regulations, NI 2005. The dangers associated with abrasive wheel tools. Abrasive wheel tools, improperly used, can be very dangerous. Potential hazards: electrocution, flying sparks, hot metal or dusts, disc jam or kickback, the grinder or the object slips, the disc shatters, noise and vibration, and hair or clothes caught by rotating disc. Typical injuries and incidents. The most common causes of injury to operators or those nearby result in lacerations from attachments, injuries caused by kickback, bruises, sprains and strains, cuts especially to hands and arms, foreign body in the eye, fires and or burns, and electric shock or equipment trip out. Typical contributing factors to incidents involving angle grinders are: using an angle grinder without a correctly fitted and positioned guard, the object being cut or ground not properly secured or positioned, inadequate poorly positioned or poorly maintained handles on the angle grinder, operator fatigue from prolonged use of an angle grinder, which is either holding, supporting, or applying pressure. Use of angle grinders in awkward or unbalanced positions, for example, overhead, in a confined space, or with arms or body extended. Inadequate selection and or use of personal protective equipment, and the lack of skill and or competency of operator in the use of the angle grinder. Angle grinder disc shattering or exploding as a result of the following: use of the wrong disc for the job, for example, cutting disc used for grinding, inappropriate operating speed chosen for the disc in use, the disc not properly installed, disc not properly maintained or not replaced when worn or glazed, and disc jamming during a cutting job. Allowing the disc to rest on one spot for too long, so overheating the disc, moisture being absorbed into part of a disc causing it to be unbalanced, and material embedded in a disc from a previous job reacting with the material and heat generated in the current job, for example, aluminium grinding followed by steel grinding. The following pictures are the result of accidents occurring while using handheld abrasive wheel tools. Electrocution or electric shock can result from either accidentally cutting through the electrical supply cable, poor quality or poorly maintained equipment or cables. Check your power supply is always earth leakage protected, and ensure your power cord and extension leads are long enough and are positioned out of harm's way. Another factor to consider whilst using handheld abrasive wheel tools is noise. Ear protection complying with EN 352 is recommended for all applications where the workpiece or machine is handheld, irrespective of the noise level. Ensure that the correct abrasive wheel is selected. An unsuitable wheel can produce excessive noise. Hand-arm vibration. Processes where the workpiece or machine is handheld can cause vibration injury. Action needs to be taken if tingling, pins and needles, or numbness is experienced after 10 minutes continuous use of the abrasive product. The effects of vibration are more pronounced in cold conditions, so keep the hands warm and exercise hands and fingers regularly. Try and use modern equipment with low vibration levels. Cautions for vibration. Use good quality abrasive wheels and keep them in good condition during their life. Maintain mounting flanges and backup pads in good condition and replace if worn or distorted. Do not grip the workpiece or machine too tightly, and do not exert excessive pressure on the abrasive product. Always take great care and attention when using abrasive wheel tools. Prevent accidental startup of the machine before mounting or changing an abrasive wheel. Isolate machines from their power source where necessary. Never remove guards from machines where fitted. Ensure that they are in good condition and properly adjusted before starting the machine. Always use gloves and suitable clothing where the workpiece or machine is handheld. For gloves, a minimum protection level of EN 388 Category 2 is recommended. After switching off the machine, ensure the wheel has come to rest before leaving the machine unattended. These are dangerous pieces of equipment, so no horseplay at work. PPE requirements. As you can see here, we have eye protection, hearing protection, dust protection, footwear protection, and gloves. All have their own EN numbers. Safe operation practices. Check the equipment before use to include inspecting the angle grinder to ensure that it is in a safe operational state, inspecting the disc and disc guard. Make sure that they are in place and secure. Ensure that the disc or wheel is not chipped, cracked, glazed, or damaged in any way that could cause it to shatter or explode. And if fuel operated equipment, refuel in a safe, ventilated area. Check the handle or handles to ensure that they are secure and not damaged. Check to see that the PAT tag on the power cord is up to date and that the on-off and/or dead man switch is in good working order. If unusual and/or excessive vibration is encountered during the test or at any time during use, immediately stop work, unplug the unit, remove the disc, inspect it and the angle grinder for damage or incorrect mounting. If the problem cannot be located, replace the grinder. Before operating, ensure that there are no flammable materials in your area and that it is not a restricted or hazardous area where grinding is not allowed. Ensure that all personnel in the area are a safe distance from the grinding work. If required, erect screens to protect other personnel or plant in the area. Secure the object you are working on in a vise or in an alternative holding device. Never start the machine with the workpiece in contact with the abrasive wheel. Ear protection may be required for the operator and those nearby. When operating an angle grinder, hold the grinder firmly with two hands and ensure that you will be able to maintain your balance throughout the job. Do not grind on the part of the wheel that is not designed for the operation, and avoid clogging and uneven wear to ensure that the abrasive wheel is working efficiently. Maintain the appropriate pressure on the object to avoid damaging the wheel or overheating the object. The weight of the angle grinder is appropriate pressure. Avoid allowing the wheel to rest on one spot for too long. This could cause the work to burn or the wheel to explode. Where possible, work at waist height. Maintain the grinding disc at a 15 to 30 degree angle to the workpiece. Changing a wheel and wheel markings. When changing a wheel, use only the tools supplied with the machine. Follow carefully the instructions given in the machine handbook. Disconnect the power and isolate the machine. Ensure that the correct abrasive wheel is selected for the type of work to be undertaken. Never use a wheel if the safety information cannot be properly identified. Always check the expiry date on the disc. Inspect for any warning decals and tighten without excessive force. It is vitally important that before any work begins, the guards should be set for appropriate grinding or cutting. Wheel markings on discs. Here we have a list of wheel markings on discs. Number 1 is our restriction of use. Number 2 is our maximum operating speed. Number 3, direction of rotation. Number 4 is the dimensions in millimeters. Number 5 is the declaration of conformity. Number 6, the name of the manufacturer, supplier, importer, or registered trademark. And number 7, the name of the supplier, producer, importer, or distributor, or their registered trademark. Number 8 is the maximum rotational frequency in RPM. Number 9, our traceability code. And number 10, safety pictograms in PPE, which are mandatory in France. RPM, or meters per second. Speed of spindle. Each power-driven machine for use with abrasive wheels should have a notice affixed to it indicating the maximum and minimum spindle speeds. The maximum speed must never be exceeded. The disc must not be run in excess of the maximum permissible speed in RPM or meters per second as recommended by the manufacturer. This must be clearly marked on the disc. We are now going to discuss a series of wheel marking warning decals. This decal means not permitted for handheld machines. This disc is not permitted for wet grinding. The disc is not permitted for face grinding. Do not use if damaged. Read the instructions. Wear appropriate PPE. Storage of discs. All abrasive wheels are fragile. They should be handled with care. Wheels should be stored on a flat, rigid surface, avoiding damp and frost or wide variation in temperature. Use the oldest wheels on a first in, first out basis, so rotate stock. Never use an abrasive product beyond its expiry date. Observe the recommended shelf life for the following specific products: resinoid and shellac products 3 years, rubber products 5 years, and vitrified products 10 years. Disposal of abrasives. Used or defective abrasives should be disposed of in accordance with local or national regulations. Be aware that the abrasive wheels may be contaminated with material from the workpiece or process after use. Disposed abrasive wheels should be damaged to prevent them from being taken from waste skips and reused. To summarise, we've talked about legislation, the dangers and risks associated with handheld abrasive wheel tools, safe operation practices, types of wheels, the markings and how you should handle and store them, noise and vibration. This concludes our somewhat condensed the risks and hazards associated with handheld abrasive wheel tools course. The full version is available to book through the CITB-NI office, either for training carried out in your workplace or on the mobile training unit. Thank you for your time and attention from the team at the CITB.